Hello! Hey everybody, how's everyone doing? Is I, Tom, your friend, you know, that one friend that you have that works at a video rental store that you keep on asking, hey, can I rent some movies for free? And I'm like, fuck no. I'll lose my job that way. Are you fucking crazy? But yeah, I'm here. I'm welcome in everyone. Everyone in the chat, how is everyone doing? I see Tori over there. She's lurking like she usually does. That is totally fine. She's grabbing a quick snack because she just woke up. So there's a couple things I want to cover today for our React content. I want to cover the greatest fucking, like, literally, like, the definition of what I would consider a Florida man. A Florida man. Nonetheless. Charlie Sheen. Because, you know, I gotta see this train wreck. This guy is so... Okay. If you know anything about me, I like watching, like, Hollywood drama unfold. I don't really talk about it that much on stream. You know? I don't talk about it that much. At all. I'm just saying. There is some outlandish actors out there, and Charlie Sheen is like on that top of the fucking totem pole. It's like this guy is a living fucking cartoon character from like Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I'm not even joking, guys. I'm not even fucking joking. He's like one of those... He's one of those motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Like, he is up there. He is up there with motherfuckers. And then I think we are going to watch a video on... I'm trying to remember here. Oh yeah, like Tesla Part 2, the Electric Boogaloo, and then I'm going to upload that to YouTube because, you know... people seem to be very attracted to the last reaction video I did of the Tesla thing, and I do enjoy watching cars get blown the fuck up. So we are gonna watch that from Whistling Diesel. And then we are going to, I think after we get done watching these videos, and like do my commentary and my reaction to them, we are going to switch. We're gonna switch shit up. You know, that's what we do here. That's what we do in this chat. We're trying to switch things up on Saturday, make them a lot longer, make them a lot more entertaining than what we usually do. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get back into the groove of being consistent with my streaming. And now that I have the tools and now I'm understanding how to use these tools, it's getting a lot better. I think I'm more consistent than what I usually was. You know what I'm saying? So let me put it here. Let me put it in a way that like I can explain it. Last year was a terrible year for me. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I had a lot going on. With surgery, dealing with a lot of family issues. Dealing with family. With my grandma being in the nursing home. So, trying to spend as much time as I possibly could. And then at the start of the year, getting sick really thrown everything off, and then like still recovering from surgery and still learning my diet and all that shit. That's still a rough part for me, because like, I'm just gonna get a little bit too much TMI. Like not having a gallbladder, I notice the difference. It's minute, but I notice it. It's a lot with like, I feel like I'm more like gassed. Like I have more gas in me. Like I'm more, I don't want to say bloated, but just I have a lot more, like when I eat something, I'm going to either burp or rip ass so badly it smells like death incarnate. And it's so fucked up. It's one of those things where I'm just like, it is so bad I can't even stand being in the same room that I ripped ass in. It's so bad. It makes me sick to my stomach. But yeah, this is our 6th time streaming this week. I did take a break on Fridays just to, spend time with my mother for a bit, and then like take my other grandmother to an appointment, and then that turned out very I want to say it turned out like very bad. Just kind of like, my mom was telling me some things like the day after that, like my grandma should have told me that she needed done before she went home. So I did not know anything that was happening. So yeah, there was that. So yeah. I'm just we're starting off today. We're gonna get into reacting to some stuff, and then I'm gonna end stream and then come back a couple hours later, and then we're gonna be basically what we're gonna be doing is we are going to be playing Monster Hunter tonight. I don't know which one we're gonna be playing, but we are going to be playing either one. So that's something to look forward to. I'm in all honesty, I'm hoping it's Wilds, and hopefully everything that happened the other day doesn't happen again. And like we're gonna be doing a serious stress test and all that shit. So that's something that we're gonna be doing, But yeah. We are going to be streaming. We're going to be doing some reacting. I do want to watch this video about Charlie Sheen because, he is a very, if you don't know him in movies, he is like the guy that just, he screams a lot of fucking I'm a washed up hack energy, and it's very enjoyable. It's like watching a train wreck and you can't stop watching it because it's like so entertaining that basically he lives his own like persona as he literally plays himself in a lot of movies in the early 2000s, and it's just like, wow, it's like he's a fucking train wreck of a person. So yeah, we're gonna watch this video from Turkey Tom. I'm pretty sure everyone knows who Turkey Tom is. So yeah, we're gonna do that. I can dash back and forth, dash back and forth, dash back and forth, dash back and forth. Now, okay, now in all honesty, yeah, we're gonna be serious. Okay, we're gonna be serious, chat. We're gonna be serious about, you know, Charlie Sheen or Carlos Estevez. Okay, we're gonna be serious about it. We're gonna be serious. Don't worry, guys. Okay. In all honesty, I really do love dashing. It's super fucking cool. Ah! Okay. With all joking aside, we're gonna be watching this. Okay. I'm gonna take this somewhat seriously because, you know, this is Charlie Sheen. There is some serious shit. I don't know, like, this guy has been in anything I've watched ever since I was a kid, so it's not surprising that, like, I do like watching him go for a fucking train wreck of his whole entire life, you know? So let's continue!
There's no shortage of celebrities with chaotic and destructive lives outside of their work. For most of these individuals, their off-screen antics are but a stain on their otherwise well-respected careers. But for one man, his chaotic lifestyle, fueled by drugs, alcohol, women, and partying, has managed to surpass all of his work. Charlie Sheen, who was...
Dude, okay, I'm gonna be honest here. When I was like fucking... Oh, what? This was when I was watching 2.5 Men, and then like TMZ would come on. I would see him on there non-fucking stop for a bunch of crazy fucking shit. You know, it's like watching that like one guy that's like everyone likes, like fucking watching, like become a train wreck. You know, like me. Because, you know, in all honesty, I'm pretty sure I am a train wreck at this point. But with him, it's like this guy was a fucking meme on YouTube. Like, he had this weird fucking like conversation with someone where it sounded like something in a fucking COD chat room. That's what I remember the most. It just like it's so fucking crazy.
Was once best known for his many appearances in films like Platoon, Wall Street, and his role as Charlie Harper on the American sitcom 2.5 Men, is currently best remembered for his now infamous interview with ABC News.
I am on a drug.
Wait a minute, you mean the winning interview? Where he basically said he had tiger blood in his system?
It's called Charlie Sheen. It's not available because if you try it once, you will die. Your face will melt off, and your children will weep over your exploded body.
Dude, I'm pretty sure this guy was tripping balls while in this fucking interview. I feel like I swear to God, anytime you see Charlie Sheen in an interview, he's probably high, like so fucking high. Like, could you ever imagine Charlie? Like, dude, the day he got actually legitimately sober is the day that his career ended. Like, that's how bad it is. And I'm like, the thing is, like, I'm not joking. It's like, I'm not like making fun of it. It's kind of like, that's kind of how his life was, you know?
Although there's a lot more to the story than just one interview, and many of the finer details and events have been obfuscated by the eccentric nature of his darkest moment. So what really happened to Charlie Sheen?
He was a child actor, and everything got to his head. And cocaine. Do you think I'm joking?
Charlie Sheen, real name Carlos Erwin Estevez, was born on September 3rd, 1965 in New York City. Charlie was actually delivered unconscious.
You know
with an umbilical
something
cord
really
around his
weird?
neck,
I just
although
realized he doesn't even look like his dad at all. Like, he has like the hair. It's just like, you know, like, and he has kind of like a little bit of it, but it's not. He looks, he looks like a Sheen. But his brother, his brother looks different, looks more like his dad than he does. And it is like with the, like, how the eyes.
obviously successfully resuscitated by doctors before it was too late.
I was born dead.
Wait, what? What the fuck? Did I just fucking ignore something? What? Okay. What the fuck did I ignore? Okay, what happened?
Charlie was actually delivered unconscious with an umbilical cord around his neck, although he was obviously successfully resuscitated by doctors before it was too late.
I was born.
Jesus fucking Christ! That's a fucking way to come into this world. Is like, oh god. That literally sounds like his whole entire career. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, that sounds like his whole entire fucking career is just a fucking wild ride.
Born dead. Get on that one for a second.
What do you mean?
Yeah, umbilical cord was like floppy baby, the whole thing. Yeah, it was bad.
Facing death before he even got a chance to live, served as a sick and
I should not laugh at that, but the way he explained it was really fucking funny. Okay? It's just the way he explained the whole thing was just like, dude, it sounded like a fucking, I don't know. He makes it sound like, bro, dude, it's like that one guy that's like, you know, I jumped off of a balcony to like, from a pool and, you know, it fucking hurt, man. It just fucking hurt, like completely bad. That's the way he fucking sounds. When he just like fucking explained it, it just sounded more like, bro, that was a fucking wild ride, man. It's not like, yeah, I feel complex about it. He's like, bro, this shit fucking happened to me, dude. Like, what the fuck? You know, it's like, it's just like the way he just fucking says it makes it more like this dude has been like, it's not like traumatizing to him. It's just kind of like, it's just like one parts of my fucking wild ride of my life, you know?
twisted sense of irony that would foreshadow Charlie's tumultuous life as he grew up. Charlie was raised by his mother, Janet Templeton, and his father, Martin Sheen, who was an at the time unknown actor. Born to the name Ramon Gerard Antonio Estevez, Charlie's father found it difficult to find work in his early career as an actor. Under the belief that prejudice played a role in his inability to land acting gigs, he began performing under the moniker of Martin Sheen.
I never changed my name. My name officially is still Ramon Estevez on my passport, driver's license, and so forth. And I love my name. I never would change it. But when I came to New York in 1959, there was a great, prejudice against Hispanics, largely against the Puerto Rican community that I adored.
At the time of Charlie's birth, Martin had yet to find true breakout success, netting himself a single guest appearance on an episode of The Outer Limits in 1963 and a role in the Broadway production.
It's like one of those like forms of media I need to like watch more of. You know? It's something I need to enjoy more, you know? Like old sci-fi. Like, I need to sit down and, like, watch that shit. I need a fun time, too. I'll probably do that before streams from now on.
The subject was roses. The latter's success would birth the creation of a feature-length film, with Martin reprising his role as Timmy Cleary. His performance earned him a nomination for Best Supporting Actor at the 26th Golden Globes Award ceremony. Despite not winning, his performance enabled him to take on bigger roles in more prominent films. In 1972, Martin was cast in the film Badlands. Martin plays the role of Kit Carruthers, a 25-year-old Korean War veteran who becomes entangled with a 15-year-old girl named Holly. The film is loosely based on the story of 19-year-old Charles Starkweather and 14-year-old Carol Ann Fugit, the former of which was responsible for an 11-person killing spree while accompanied by the young girl. Despite its rather...
Jesus fucking Christ. People, oh God, like, that, why? Why even make a movie about that shit? It's like, that's some, like, fucking, like, who fucking approved that? Like, oh, it's based on a true story about this, like, adult being romantically involved with a teenage girl, but the guy's a homicidal maniac. We're going to make that a movie. And, like, why? That's so dumb.
Other disturbing premise, the movie saw massive commercial success and is regarded by Martin as one of his favorite.
Really? Who in their right mind would, like, that just seems like a really weird movie to watch. Like, I don't know, like, I guess back in the day it was actually fucking okay. What the fuck?
Favorite roles. What makes this movie very notable is it features a young Charlie Sheen with his brother Emilio at the age of 8 years old, sitting under a street lamp, the very first on-screen appearance for the young boy. The early career of Martin Sheen is
he got the acting bug all right.
Crucial to the story of Charlie, not just because of his role in inspiring him to become an actor himself, but also to observe the parallels of the two and the characteristics that contrast them. Charlie Sheen is known for many things, including his propensity for drugs, drinking, and violent outbursts. His father Martin was not too dissimilar. Alcoholism consumed him in his early career, leading to outbursts both in public and at home. His oldest son Emilio is quoted as saying, "I hated him when he got drunk, because he'd get violent." Some of it he may remember, some of it he may not. But yeah, it was horrible. And because I was the oldest, it was always directed at me. But I think the Philippines was the last physical fight we had. The reason for the two being in the Philippines was for the filming of Martin's latest movie, Apocalypse Now. It was during the production of this film that Martin finally had his true breakthrough.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure like Martin Sheen had a fucking heart attack in that movie. If I remember correctly, like, during the production of that movie, he had a heart attack. Like, I heard it was, like, pretty bad.
On August 3rd, 1976, on Martin's 36th birthday, he was filming the movie's opening scene, featuring his character, Benjamin L. Willard, drunkenly stumbling out of his hotel room. The unique twist to this scene was that Martin was also drunk. Martin Sheen, who was supposed to punch the air, miscalculated his distance from a nearby mirror and sliced his hand open. However, the camera kept rolling, and Martin began smearing his face with his own blood.
So you're telling me they improvised the whole fucking scene because he was intoxicated? I should not laugh about that, but the way it's just like said, it's just like, yeah, fucking actors, man. I swear, every time you hear about actors and their drinking problems, it's like, it becomes like fucking nuclear. Like, any actor you see that drinks are usually like very, very like fucked up in the head. Like, bro, I'm not even joking. Like, every time, like, okay, so me and my friends, when we go out drinking, we only drink so much. We don't drink until we're fucking passed out, or drink underneath the fucking table. Because one, I hardly drink, and the only time we do drink is like, I only drink like one or like just maybe like two drinks, and like it's most of the time it's like either beer or like Shirley Temple with vodka in it, and that's it. And it's not even that much. It's like, oh, okay. And then we just like wait like 2 hours and we're like good because we have food in our system. We also get water. Like we eat at a bar and grill, so it's like we either get like a couple drinks and we get like an order of fries and we get like a cheeseburger. We get all of this fucking shit and we just eat it. And the thing is, like, the alcohol doesn't even affect us. And we make sure we're hydrated. So we don't really have those issues, you know? But these actors, they fucking drink themselves underneath the table. I'm like, it doesn't surprise me that a lot of actors recently have just, like, passed away. Because fuck, dude, if you see how these actors act, they just fucking drink themselves underneath the fucking table. And sometimes they just don't see the light of day and they're fucking, probably their liver's fucked up. It's like, there was an actor from Buffy that just passed away recently. And also, I just learned about this, like, I think like yesterday, that Val Kilmer just recently passed to pneumonia, which was also caused by complications to what he was recently going through, which was like throat cancer. So at least he doesn't, like, it's like, wow. And the thing is, I don't really think Val Kilmer had like a very crazy lifestyle compared to other actors, but I think the female one from Buffy had a major drinking issue where she had to get a liver transplant, and I guess there was complications with that, and that's what caused her to pass away. I have no idea. I think it was because of that. I can't remember properly what it was. It was like 2 months ago when I heard about it. So I'm just kind of like, oh, okay. Or it was like a month ago. It might have been 2 months. Yeah, I think, no, it was a month ago. Yeah.
Downing even more alcohol before having a genuine mental breakdown. This was described as a moment of exorcising his demons. Although it's worth noting that this moment was not enough to provoke Martin to quit cold turkey. That would come some months later in the form of a heart attack. This would require him to take some time off from filming, and would be the driving decision to quit
the heart attack is the reason why he
drinking.
stopped
There's a
drinking.
part of me that was already dead. I had to die to that part of myself.
Okay,
I'm
that sounds
talking
like a
very
little
metaphysically,
bit of Charlie
but
Sheen.
spiritually too. I was a desperate man. You follow? And a terribly dishonest man. I was living two kind of existence. And you can't live that way. You can't live healthily or whole. You're gonna break.
While Martin had a personal breakthrough and managed to exorcise his demons, the same cannot be said for his son Charlie. The most likely reason for this boils down to their upbringing. Martin was raised by first-generation Irish immigrants and experienced a handful of ailments in his childhood, such as a case of Erb's palsy and polio. He also experienced the death of his mother at the young age of 11 and was nearly sent to an orphanage in the wake of her passing. This undoubtedly matured Martin and prepared him for future hardship. But there's more to it than just that, because there's no doubt that Martin's upbringing was tough. He faced many challenges, but he was also in relative safety during it. The
thing is, he wasn't raised into the fame of acting. He wasn't like a childhood actor. That was probably like one of the major differences compared to like other people. So that makes sense in a way. That is probably one of the reasons why he didn't really stick to like drinking, and like he understood like he needed to fix something in his life, compared to like, you know, his son, where his son was basically like born into the field of work he was doing. He was also a childhood actor at I think at a very young age, like especially in high school. Like, I don't remember what movie he was in. I know it was like a movie that kind of caused more issues in his life. I can't remember what it was or what it really was about. I don't know.
cannot be said for a young
I know it had like another childhood star in it. Can't remember which.
Charlie Sheen. It's not a secret that young actors often have their minds corrupted at a young age due to things like drugs, physical abuse, or both. A young child being surrounded by big-time actors and Hollywood executives is often a recipe for disaster, which likely explains why he began smoking pot at the age of 11. He also lost his virginity at the age of 15, after he contracted the services of a red-haired
Sounds like a...
woman of the night named Candy. His father...
Jesus Christ, this does sound like Charlie Sheen. Like, you know, sometimes my mom's like, why do you know so much about this? I just like think about, like, I don't know. And then now that I watch this, I understand why I know about cocaine and hookers. And it's probably because of Charlie Sheen. I think about it now. That's probably the truth. Is Charlie Sheen introduced me to cocaine and hookers. Oh my God. I just think about it right now. It's like, oh yeah.
Martin eventually found out about this after finding the charge on his credit card and confronted his son, concerned at the prospect that young Charlie had fallen in love with a streetwalker. Despite these troubling behaviors, Charlie appeared to be set up for success during his high school career. He attended Santa Monica High alongside fellow future Hollywood stars like Robert Downey Jr. and Rob Lowe. He also excelled at sports, earning himself a scholarship to play.
Wasn't Robert Downey Jr. and Rob Lowe like both alcoholics as well? Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure that was the case. Like, dude, that shit was fucking... Like, I think I was introduced to Robert Downey Jr. in a movie called The Pickup Artist. Like, I liked the movie. Like, it was very, You're there, like, okay. The Pickup Artist is a very good movie if you're there to watch the actor. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is a very charismatic actor, and, you know, the thing is, like, I'm just thankful that Iron Man just brought him back into the starlight because, dude, that shit was dude, he is top notch as very charismatic. He knows how to act. He's very artistically intelligent when it comes to the way he presents characters. And he's one of those actors that, like, you just like his charisma and he just oozes with it. And he's just very fun to watch. You know? That's Robert Downey Jr. Like, the thing is, thank God that fucking Iron Man saved his whole entire career, and, like, he's still acting till this day. Even now, he's going to be acting as Doctor Doom, which... I don't know how I feel about that. They could have hired somebody else. You know... In all honesty, it would be actually kind of cool to see Henry Cavill as Doctor Doom. You know, it was like just make him like that character, and that would have been fine. Well, I'm just kind of also hoping that he's like, if they cast him as Wolverine, they cast him as Wolverine and not fucking pussyfoot around that shit. Like, the thing is, like, Marvel needs to figure out what they want to do with their properties and be smart with it from now on, which will help them in the long run. But let's continue with this train wreck.
Play baseball.
I'm starting to, like, dude, this guy just, like, literally was, like, fucking into drugs and hookers by the age of fucking in his teens.
The University of Kentucky. Unfortunately, he still managed to get himself in trouble. At the age of 16, Charlie and his friend got arrested after smoking some pot in his car and passing out. The cop found their stash, as well as a knife on Charlie. Fortunately, nothing came of this, as his mother was a friend of the judge handling the case. While he was able to avoid facing legal ramifications, he was arrested a year later at 17 for credit card fraud. Supposedly, Charlie had gone on a 4-day crime spree, in which he and a few buddies dug through trash cans at the Beverly Hills Hotel well, and used the information to purchase TVs, watches, and jewelry. This, paired together with his poor grades and truancy, got him expelled from high school, and subsequently he lost
You
his
know, he
baseball
looks like a
scholarship,
normal
although
kid.
he claims he turned down the scholarship to pursue acting. Regardless of any of that, Charlie was still poised to find success as an actor, taking his first major role in the movie Red Dawn.
Okay, Red Dawn is a fucking classic. It is a very, very fucking good movie. I fucking recommend this. If you want something that's patriotic and something to enjoy, watch Red Dawn. It is so fucking good. Me and my dad watched this all the fucking time when I was a kid. I highly recommended it, and like I watched this like 2 years ago, and I still fucking enjoyed it. Like I was like 2 years ago, I was like going through a very I was going through some serious depression, and I kind of want to relive my childhood, and like, you know, movies were like a big important part of my childhood. So when I watched Red Dawn, and I'm just like, it's one of those movies that just kind of like is like literally a coming into age story about teenagers having to fight the Russian army to save America. Like, it's like, if you want to feel patriotic, you watch Red Dawn. That's all I'm gonna say.
Starring a young Patrick Swayze. Red Dawn is well known for being the first movie to ever receive a PG-13 rating and would go on to be the highest grossing movie of the year. This is likely due to the massive success of Swayze in his role, The Outsiders, which featured other soon-to-be household names like Rob Lowe, Tom Cruise, and Charlie's older brother, Emilio Estevez. All of this is to say that Charlie was entering the industry at the same time as many other actors we've come to know as legends. Shortly after the release of Red Dawn, Charlie welcomed his first child at the age of 19 with his high school girlfriend, Paula Prophet. After a handful of roles in TV and on film, Charlie managed to land himself leading roles in The Boys Next Door in 1985 and Lucas in 1986. The latter, while not much of a commercial success, will become an important milestone in the career of Charlie Sheen, with dark allegations about supposed misconduct surfacing over 30 years after the film's release. He would also manage to get a small role in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, where he played a bad boy drug addict named Garth. Ironically, Charlie had yet to pick up his drug habits, aside from the occasional joint, of course. But the moment of opportunity was right around the corner. Platoon, released in 1986, featured a 20-year-old Charlie Sheen in the role of Private Chris Taylor, stationed in South Vietnam. The film featured
This is a movie I need to
actors
actually
like
sit
Willem
down and
Dafoe,
watch.
Keith David, Forrest Whitaker, and Johnny Depp. But what's important here is that Sheen took the leading role in the film. In hindsight, this is an unbelievable accomplishment at his age. What's even more interesting are the similarities between this breakout role and his father's Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, so my God, like Charlie Sheen was a very top-notch actor. I just like the thing is, if he didn't get stuck drinking alcohol and like becoming a party animal, fucking coke addict, and like literally like followed the same path, like followed a path where he's like clean and sober, I think like he would have been probably, I'm gonna jokingly say, like a Marvel superhero. But now he's just kind of like, you know, just went downhill from there after 2.5 Men.
Not only did both films take place during the Vietnam War, but their on and offset antics during these productions would also change the trajectory of their lives forever. Although, the manner in which their lives changed were vastly different. On the set of Apocalypse Now, Martin was faced with his own mortality and managed to clean up his act. For Charlie, however, things were just getting started. His propensity for drinking became more dire and severe, landmarked by his role in the movie Wall Street, featuring his father Martin and directed by Oliver Stone, the same man who directed Charlie's breakout movie, Platoon. The film was well received and earned a handful of awards in the process. However, Charlie was frequently drunk during the scenes in which his character, Bud Fox, was on camera.
I watch it now and I'm like, Yeah, okay, hammered again. Oh, geez, really hammered. You know, I mean, I was able to
He just knew when he was fucking either drunk or fucking high. He's like, oh, that I remember that said, yeah, I was puking in the fucking van, and then I came in, and then like, you know, I couldn't fucking see shit, so I had to wear fucking sunglasses throughout that whole fucking scene.
I don't want to say scrape by.
It's possible that because of the flagrant alcoholism, that Oliver Stone opted to not cast Charlie for the role of Ron Kovic in his next film, Born on the 4th of July, despite their
I need to
previous
actually
success
watch this
together
movie.
and him auditioning for the
Fuck.
role. Rather, a young Tom Cruise was given
This
the part.
this is making me realize I need to watch a lot of movies. I need to sit down and actually do that. Like, fuck.
after his successes in the films Top Gun and Rain Man. In hindsight, Charlie's work with Oliver Stone is considered to be his best, and many believe his career would have reached much further heights if the two had continued collaborating. But it's at this point that Charlie got a status as a bit of a pariah in Hollywood. Despite being surrounded by actors remembered as Hollywood icons like Johnny Depp, Tom Cruise, Sean Penn, Patrick Swayze, and even his own brother, Emilio, the name Charlie Sheen didn't quite carry the same star power. Of course, this lost opportunity.
Are you sure about that? Like, he was in some solid ass fucking movies. Like, I don't think it really was a star power. I think, like, I think he was still doing pretty good throughout the whole entire, like, this time period. Cause, like, you know, like, he was in a lot of good shit before the cocaine and hookers really affected his life.
Was by no means the end of his career. His next notable role came in Young Guns, featuring Kiefer Sutherland, Lou Diamond Phillips, and his brother Emilio Estevez. In an interview, his co-star Dermot Mulroney reflected on the bad habits of the cast that took place on set, claiming that they overindulged themselves with alcohol in a way young actors wouldn't do in modern times. He recalls a handful of chaotic moments, with the most prevalent memory being the time a half-naked Charlie Sheen climbed over a balcony. Nonetheless, Charlie found steady work and massive success in the coming years, featuring in 8 Men Out, Major League, and Never on a Tuesday, alongside other
Okay, Major League was funny as hell. Like, it was hella fucking funny. Like, okay, they're like throughout the whole entire movie, like Charlie Sheen has a hard time throwing a perfect pitch because he's like nearsighted. And then like he gets better throughout the movie. He like becomes a better pitcher because he puts fucking glasses on, and it's funny, and he's like, I don't remember, like, and then he gets punched in the face for like sleeping with one of the teammates' wives at that time.
actors like Nicolas Cage and Gilbert Gottfried. But even at the time, Charlie wasn't quite known like he is today. Aside from a handful of roles that saw decent success, he was most well known as the son of Martin Sheen and younger brother of Emilio Estevez, who had major roles in movies like The Outsiders, The Breakfast Club, St. Elmo's Fire, and Young
and Mighty Ducks.
Guns. Emilio was also considered to be a member of the Brat Pack, a group of young actors who often featured in movies together. This group included names like Rob Lowe, Anthony Michael Hall, Judd Nelson, Demi Moore, and Molly Ringwald. Charlie was colloquially excluded from this group, depending on who you ask. And understandably, he felt some level of jealousy towards his brother and the rest of the Brat Pack, stating, "I was so jealous I wanted to kill myself. They got all the girls, all the free meals, all the dope, all the perks, all of it. I said to myself, I'm going to eclipse all of them." In a sense, Charlie would succeed at this, although his ascension past his peers was partially due to his infamous persona rather than his acting chops. And it wouldn't be too long before his off-screen antics began to rise to the surface.
Oh, we're gonna get into the scandals. God, it's
First
gonna
notable
involve a lot of
scandal
coke
that
and
Charlie got
hookers.
himself involved in relates to his at-the-time fiancée, Kelly Preston. In 1990, Kelly was rushed to the hospital and received stitches for a supposed gunshot wound. And after the fact, rumors began circulating that Charlie was the one to pull the trigger. In actuality, her injury was the result of a freak accident. Both Kelly and Sheen have denied that he was the one to pull the trigger, with Charlie claiming, "She lifted my pants off the scale in the bathroom and the tiny revolver I used to carry. It fell out of the back jeans pocket and hit the floor and shot a bullet right between her legs. So she got hit with shrapnel from the toilet bowl." For years, people thought,
Okay, why the fuck would you have a gun in your fucking pants, man? Like, why? Like, there's a reason why gun safes exist. And yeah, you know what? It's Charlie Sheen. He's gonna fuck something up eventually. I should expect that. But seriously, dude, like, why do you have your gun in your pants and you fucking drop and nearly shoot your fucking wife?
there was always this conversation, this discussion about the time I tried to kill Kelly Preston. Of course, this resulted in nothing more than false rumors without merit, although it's often cited as the reason for the two's eventual breakup. Regardless of if that's the case or not, Kelly didn't seem to hold any animosity towards Charlie, calling him a beautiful person on the inside. Kelly also claims that for the year they were together, Sheen wasn't drinking or doing drugs. Perhaps she never noticed that behavior during their relationship, but others in his family certainly did. August 3rd, 1990 was the day of Martin Sheen's 50th birthday. Arriving at his parents' house both sleep-deprived and high, Charlie expected lighthearted festivities and a celebration of his father's life. But he never could have expected what he was walking into. Once he entered the house, he bore witness to his two brothers, his younger sister, his parents, his childhood friend, Rob Lowe, and also present was his 9th grade history teacher and his yoga instructor. Charlie had just walked into an intervention. The moment was so surreal, Charlie was unsure if he was hallucinating,
this is gonna be
dreaming, or he had already died. Although it took him almost 30 minutes of the intervention to realize that this conversation would end with him going to rehab.
I mean, you knew you had a problem. Did you believe you had a problem when that happened, or were you still in denial, or were you trying to hide it at that point?
I was too young to have a problem.
According to Charlie, he quickly began thinking of ways to escape, but was overwhelmed by the pleas of those around him. Rob Lowe, who himself had just begun 30-plus years of sobriety, pleaded with Charlie to seek help, stating, "Every day that you delay seeking help from now on, your addiction is in the hallway doing push-ups, getting stronger." Even more impactful was a call from Clint Eastwood.
Well, okay, that is some good advice. You know, Charlie, you should have took that. You definitely should have fucking took that.
Lee had just finished filming the buddy cop film The Rookie with. Clint implored him to check into rehab, noting that 30 days inside could net him 30 years more of life to live. At this point, Sheen felt he had no choice but to go.
In all honesty, I feel like that, like, to tell you the truth, to be honest, in order to get over addiction, you need to keep your hands not idling, and you need to constantly do stuff in order to get over, like, addictions like smoking and, like, drinking. Because those are the people that get, like, bored easily, like, oh, I need something to do in my life. So they go into drinking and, like doing all the fucking crazy shit. I'm not saying it's completely true. There's also trauma involved in all that. Like, there's a lot of things going on. And the thing about Charlie Sheen is, like, I'm pretty sure a lot of his problems would have been avoidable if, like, his parents fucking, I don't know, like, if he did not, if he had, like, a normal childhood, which I'm pretty sure he did not have a normal childhood. Like, he was already in movies by the age of 8 years old, so it's like, I don't know, like, it's in all honesty, it's like, he's a fucking train wreck of a person to begin with. Like, figure out why it happened. It was probably because, like fame and popularity really got to his fucking head. And, like, a lot of the shit that he was seeing his friends do back in the 80s was something just completely fucking normal to become, it just basically became like a part of his childhood. You know what I'm saying? It's all that crazy shit you could possibly think of. It's fucking wild.
Although he bargained to spend the weekend packing and getting his affairs in order, which was actually just a cover-up for a bikini contest that he and Nick Cage were planning to host in Palm.
Why is that a classic fucking Charlie Sheen move to do? Fucking have a bikini contest like with fucking Nicolas Cage before he goes to rehab. Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, when do you have the fucking time to, like, just do this dumb fuck? It sounds like some fucking, frat house shenanigans? Is that what this is? Just frat house shenanigans?
Springs. His family said no. However, he was able to bribe a nurse at the clinic, promising her $50,000 if he didn't return on time Monday morning, which he was able to follow through on. Despite this, Charlie was able to get clean and stayed that way for an entire year. However, on the 1-year anniversary of his sobriety, Charlie had a beer to celebrate. While he did show restraint in the following months, his cravings for alcohol came back, especially during social functions.
Okay, he has like...
but what I started doing...
Okay, now that I'm knowing that he has an addictive personality, I'm just like, cool.
Is, bribing waitresses and waiters to...
Now it makes all much sense. Like, he's just addicted to things
so
because that's how his brain's wired.
Still, because everybody knew I'd gone to rehab.
Of course, this behavior did nothing but throw Charlie back into his cycle of addiction. But aside from that, he did manage to get himself more work, getting the leading role in the comedy movie Hot Shots, created by the co-writer and director of the movie Airplane. This was followed by a sequel, Hot Shots
movie was
Part
really
2
fucking
in
good.
1993.
So was
Movies
that movie.
like Platoon.
Like I loved watching them with my friend. Like me and my best friend would watch it all the time. Our the most funniest scene in that whole entire movie is like, okay, in the first Hot Shot movie, they're fucking. He's making breakfast on this chick's fucking like stomach. Like he's like putting like breaking eggs and just like putting them on top and then just like sizzling bacon. It's fucking hilarious, man. If you've never seen that movie, go watch it. It's so good. Hot Shots is so good. It makes fun of Top Gun. It's so great.
And Wall Street had already made their impact, and with major roles in box office successes like Major League, The Three Musketeers, and the Hot Shots movies, Charlie Sheen had started to become a household name. This is exemplified in 1994 when he received his own star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, something that his older brother Emilio was not honored with until 2025. Charlie was notably absent from any movie appearances in 1995. However, developments were still being made in his personal life. He married Donna Peel only 6 weeks after meeting on set for a cigarette commercial. Unfortunately, however,
I can't remember who the fuck Donna Peel is. Does anyone know who the fuck Donna Peel is? I'm like, her face looks familiar. I can't remember where she was in.
the marriage would fall apart, with Sheen filing for divorce only 5 months after the wedding. Charlie cited a certain gut feeling that the relationship would never work, talking about the, quote, suffocating nature of it. Another possible factor in their split was a legal case Charlie
suffocating
was involved in
feeling
around this time.
because let me guess, you can't get into your fucking cocaine parties, I'm guessing. Like your fucking coke and alcohol and your hookers.
1993, Heidi Fleiss was arrested on charges relating to her illegal prostitution ring that she started in 1990, which was home to up to 70 different women involved in the operation. By 1994, she was facing federal charges, and one of her clients was called to testify in her trial. This client was none other than Charlie Sheen. According to Heidi, Charlie spent between
of course it had to be Charlie Sheen.
$400,000 on her escorts.
Of course it has to be Charlie Sheen, like spending. Charlie Sheen spent $300,000 or $400,000 on escorts. Okay. Wow. Just fucking wow. Of course it's Charlie Sheen. Of course he would spend money on fucking $300,000 to $400,000 on hookers. Oh, I'm sorry. I meant escorts. My God. This is a classic Charlie Sheen move.
service and was one of her biggest clients. Although Charlie claimed to have only spent $53,000 in a year. Despite the business being majority cash only, Charlie was one of the few clients to write checks, which ultimately got him caught up in the trial. Charlie was ultimately able to avoid jail.
Oh my god, dude, like you made a fucking amateur mistake there, bro. Even though I'm like, God, why did I fucking say that? You know, I have no idea about, like, yeah, no, I don't have any idea how in all honesty, I don't understand escort services. I don't understand half the shit. I don't understand why people do half the shit they do.
Time due to his testimony,
I don't really
thanks
think
to his
I care
plausible
either.
deniability in being able to name other big clients, he walked away with next to no consequences, aside from the strain on his marriage, of course. 1996 saw a widespread of variety in Charlie's acting roles, making appearances in the romance film Loose Women, the children's animated movie All Dogs Go to Heaven 2, and the science fiction thriller The Arrival. He also made an appearance on the American sitcom Friends, where he played the role of Ryan, the ex-boyfriend to Phoebe. However, it wasn't long before things once again took a turn for the worse. On December 20th, 1996, Charlie Sheen allegedly assaulted his then-girlfriend, Brittany Ashland. According to a lawsuit filed in February 1997, Charlie had grabbed her by the hair and knocked her unconscious after slamming her onto the marble floor of his home. As a result, her lip was busted open so badly that she bled all over herself and would ultimately require 7 stitches. Once conscious again, Charlie allegedly forced her to remove her soiled clothes and dispose of them, and even threatened to kill her if she told anyone about what had transpired. Charlie was ultimately charged with assault, battery, negligence, false imprisonment, and emotional distress. The trial resulted in Charlie being sentenced to a 1-year suspended prison term and 2 years of probation. One condition of that probation was that he had to cease the use of drugs entirely, although Charlie didn't manage to follow through on this. On May 20th, 1998, paramedics were called to the now 32-year-old Charlie Sheen's home by his father after suffering an apparent stroke. It was later discovered that the stroke was actually a cocaine overdose after Charlie attempted to inject the drug with a syringe. This came as a shock, considering that Charlie had claimed
like, if
to
you
be a
think of the most
born-again
terrible
Christian
things you
and
could
had put his
possibly
life
think
of
of, probably
substance abuse behind
Charlie
him.
Sheen has
After
done
his
it,
stomach
except
was
for like
pumped in the
murder.
hospital, he was forced
That
to
we
check into
know
rehab
of.
and had his probation extended for another year.
That we know of. My God.
Once again, it seemed like Charlie had hit rock bottom. However, he was characteristically able to find his way back to the top in no time. In 2000, he landed the lead role in the American sitcom series Spin City. This was potentially one of Charlie's most difficult roles, as Spin City was already in its 5th season when he joined.
No, I've never
he was
seen
responsible
Spin
for filling in for the lead role of Michael J. Fox, as his physical health was declining due to his Parkinson's disease. Despite the challenging entry, Charlie flourished in the role as Charlie Crawford, and eventually won a Golden Globe Award in 2002 for his
He
performance.
plays a lot of
Denise.
characters named Charlie.
You were right. My lovely fiance had a dream I was going to win.
It was also in 2002 that he married his second wife, Denise Richards, after meeting on the set of Good Advice.
Okay.
As large as a moment as this
I seen Good Advice. It is a very, very Charlie Sheen movie. It's an alright movie, but it's literally like Charlie Sheen sleeping with a bunch of women and then giving dating advice to women and guys. Like, that's the whole entire movie. It is just like he takes his girlfriend's I don't know. He takes his girlfriend's job about dating and like dating advice, and he just writes it down and just like gives advice like that. That's the whole entire concept, whole entire like plot of the movie. And then he bangs his editor. That's the plot. It is very, very, very just like, it's a forgettable movie, and it's just fucking weird.
This was for Charlie, what would come next would be an even bigger development.
So no TV, no computer, no Game Boy. Charlie, I need you to be my eyes and ears.
Okay, but you have to be my liver and prostate.
Whoa, whose is this?
Charlie, you want to field that one?
Charlie Sheen's magnum opus is undoubtedly 2.5 Men, with 9 Emmys won and 26 nominations, being widely considered one of the most successful American comedy programs of all time. Charlie was approached by the show's creator Chuck Lorre to play the lead role without a script. While hesitant at first, hearing the name 2.5 Men caught his attention, thinking that it, quote, sounded like a hit. The show tells the story of Alan Harper, played by John Cryer, and his son, Jake, the former of which is facing a pending divorce. With nowhere else to turn, the father and son move in with Alan's brother, Charlie, a sex-crazed, partying bachelor who found a small fortune writing jingles for various commercials. The character of Charlie Harper is loosely based on the persona of Charlie Sheen himself.
There it is.
And it's likely the show never would have been made without his
There it
involvement.
is.
In a sense, despite the
2.5
turmoil
Men.
of his private life, all of it culminated in his most profitable business venture. During season 1, Charlie was making $800,000 per episode, a number that would balloon to $1.8 million by the 8th season of the show. With success like this, it was undeniable that Charlie Sheen was on top of the world. He and his wife later introduced their daughter into the world in March of 2004, with a second on the way by December of that same year. Unfortunately, before the baby was even born, Denise decided to file for divorce. Although at the time of their second daughter's birth, there was some skepticism to proceed with the separation. But ultimately, their marriage would officially end in 2006. Richards' reason for filing for divorce was what she described as inappropriate behavior, claiming that Sheen had an attraction to underage women. She later went on to allege that Charlie watched a gay of boys who, in her words, looked underage. I told him I discovered some material on a website that he belongs to, which I found very disturbing. Websites which promoted very young girls who looked very
fucking
underage
uncomfortable,
to me,
and
with
we're like,
and braces. I also told him about
we're
other
not even
websites I
halfway
discovered
through the
that he
whole entire
accessed
video
involving gay material, also involving young men who didn't look like adults. I told him as a mother, I found this information very disturbing because we had 2 young daughters, and that I believed he had a serious problem which he needed to deal with.
So we're watching the train
and that he
wreck of
shot
Charlie
around our
Sheen,
children.
and it's
He
getting really
reiterated that
fucked
there was
up.
nothing wrong with the sites that he was accessing, and that I needed to turn my
Like,
head
very
and
fucked
ignore
up.
it. Charlie eventually responded to these allegations.
I don't think I can
stating,
unsee this
The FBI
shit.
was aware of these issues. I provided them with every computer I owned. The computers were returned 2 weeks later. I haven't heard from them since. Period. The end. While these allegations are concerning, there has never been any direct confirmation of what Denise alleged. Notably, however, Sheen does not deny the allegation of looking at homosexual not safe for work material, indicating that he's potentially bisexual. Normally, I wouldn't even go out of my way to point this out, but Charlie's hidden attraction to men and transgender women is something that pops up in the midst of his future transgressions, so it's worth establishing here. Some have even speculated that Charlie's supposed repressed sexuality is a key factor in the turmoil he's experienced and the reason why he found solace in drugs and alcohol. But before anything was even official in terms of the divorce, Charlie had already found a new partner, an American actress, Brooke Mueller. After 2 years of dating, the couple would officially wed in 2008 and welcome 2 sons in March of 2009. However, their relationship would fall apart rather quickly after Sheen was arrested on Christmas morning 2009 when he allegedly put a knife to his wife's throat.
What the fuck, dude? Dude, what the fuck?
It's like some switchblade.
Supposedly, this was provoked by
Holy-
Brooke making
holy
a threat
fucking
to release
shit.
a private sex tape featuring him and another man. What's more is that Charlie had made blackmail of his own, being evidence of Brooke's supposed drug use. These weapons of mutually assured destruction were enough for Brooke to second-guess her decision, and she quickly decided to recant her statement to the police. However, there was nothing to be done, as the cops implemented a protection.
Siren. I'm gonna be real with you. I think the only reason why I know about cocaine and hookers is because of Charlie Sheen. And my mom wanted to know why I knew anything about this. Like, my mom was like, "Why? How do you know about cocaine and hookers? We're a very religious family. How do you know about?" I'm like, you know, I don't know. And now that I'm watching this video, my repressed memory of it is coming back. Where it's like, oh, thank you, Charlie Sheen, for making me know about cocaine and hookers. Thank you for bringing back all the repressed memories. Yeah, that too. I just watched a lot of the shit on TMZ. I blame TMZ for my knowledge about things I should not know. I'm starting to think that's my issue.
in order to keep them separated. While the two remained legally married until their divorce in November of 2010, the relationship had died that Christmas Day. In August of 2010, Charlie pled guilty to misdemeanor assault and was allowed to spend time in rehab as opposed to jail. He was also required to spend 3 months on probation and attend 36 hours of domestic violence training. On top of this, he spent a month in court-ordered rehab, something Sheen was eager to comply with.
There's
domestic
violence training?
In October of that same year, a noise complaint was filed to the front desk of the Plaza Hotel in New York City at 2 in the morning. When police arrived to investigate the disruptive room, they found an escort and a naked Charlie Sheen extremely high. The room was completely trashed, with tables, chairs, and even a chandelier found scattered throughout the room, totaling $7,000 in damages. Supposedly, the mess was a result of a frantic search for his phone and wallet, which he believed the escort had stolen from him. This escort, named Capri Anderson, eventually appeared on Good Morning America to tell her side of the story. She alleged that Charlie was heavily intoxicated and personally witnessed him doing lines on the hotel's coffee table. Despite this, the two's encounter began to heat up and become consensual physically. However, after Charlie put his hands around her neck, she began resisting. Charlie put up no fight in her efforts to withdraw consent, but that wouldn't stop him from throwing a lamp across the room in a fit of rage. A month after the dispute, Capri stated her intentions to file a civil lawsuit. However, before it was filed, Charlie Sheen filed his own lawsuit preemptively.
Yeah, again, not surprised. It's classic Charlie Sheen W, I guess.
Regardless of who was telling the truth and who was lying,
we could look at it as an L, but he's going to look at it as a W because he's fucking
manager
wired.
came out to say that the actor had just had an allergic reaction to medication, which is more
allergic reaction to medication. Is that medication cocaine? Is that it? Is it just cocaine? Oh yeah, I just had an allergic reaction to. Yep, cocaine. Fuck, I should. You know what? This video, the rest of this video is just gonna be me with a cigarette in my mouth. Yeah, it's just. Everything about him is just like, wow, you are a train wreck while your brother and your dad are like, you know, at least reasonable people and are not really in the media like you are, dude. Back in like what, 2010? The 2010s? Yeah, it's like you gotta put this in consideration. This guy is a really good actor, but he just kind of became washed up with drugs. He was in a lot of good fucking movies too, and I'm like thinking about like, wow, holy shit, America is like a fucking pot of like shit and crap and all that shit like that, dude. Like, it's like, why? Yeah, to an extent. It's like, it's fucking weird. Hold on, I gotta, oh god. I gotta, where the fuck is it at? There we go. Okay. Yep, eye bags. I remember him in Red Dawn. I remember him in Wall Street because I watched that when I was a kid. I remember him in Hot Shots 1 and 2, and I remember him in 2.5 Men. And I remember him in Scary Movie 3 and 4.
Up to prevent Charlie from further consequence. Worst of all, Charlie's ex-wife, Denise Richards, as well as their 2 daughters, were at the same hotel during this event. Sheen was not arrested for this, however, he was taken to the hospital for a physical and mental health evaluation. He was only 1 week from completing his probation, although it doesn't appear he suffered any legal ramifications for this due to not being officially arrested. But it wasn't long until Charlie Sheen
he didn't get any ramifications from this?
Ingesting as many drugs as he could.
You know, I'm not gonna lie, 2.5 Men was like on TV.
He was rushed to the hospital for
and it was just basically
pains. Originally
2.5 Men is just Charlie Sheen acting like Charlie Sheen, just like a very tamed version of Charlie Sheen, where it's nothing about it's about the booze and sex instead of like the cocaine. But they make a lot of prostitute jokes. Oh yeah, that's probably true too. A lot of fucking hush money.
Expected to be an overdose, while the ailment was officially reported as a hernia in his stomach. However, after revelations of Charlie spending the past 36 hours partying with girls, drinking, and drugs involved, it became clear that this was, in
They had to
fact,
censor
another
a
overdose.
lot in this fucking
Following
video.
this, 2.5 Men was put on an indefinite hiatus.
Wait. Are we getting into the meat and potatoes of the fucking rant? The interview? The infamous interview? Oh my gosh, this is gonna be fucking hype.
It was clear that Charlie was sinking deeper and deeper into his addictions, making headlines more and more frequently. His next headline, however, would prove to be one of the worst moments of his life. While the show was still on hiatus, Charlie decided to let loose on 2.5 Men's creator Chuck Lorre during a discussion with none other than Alex Jones.
I've spent, I think, close to the last decade effortlessly and magically converting your tin cans into pure gold. And the gratitude I get is this charlatan, clearly someone who believes he is above the law. Well, you've been warned, dude. Bring it.
You might be surprised to learn that one of
I don't
the
know,
biggest
bring it.
stars in Hollywood was talking with a figure like Alex Jones, but ironically, this wasn't even the first time Charlie had spoken with Alex. In fact, he
Oh
made an
my
appearance on his
God.
show a few years prior in 2006 to discuss the events of 9/11. The two of them discussed their mutual agreement on the potential inside job that was orchestrated that day. Charlie's beliefs on 9/11 are considered by some 9/11 truthers to be the reason why the deep state was responsible for the media backlash he was about to receive. But these comments actually came
winning.
with little consequence at the time. However, his comments about
Oh my
Chuck Lorre
God.
ultimately resulted in CBS making the decision to discontinue the remainder of the season for 2.5 Men. This decision would
Oh my
enrage
God.
Sheen, who opted to write an open letter to Chuck Lorre the same day. What does this say about Haim Levine after he
Haim
tried to use his
Levine?
words to judge and attempt to degrade me? I gracefully ignored this folly for 177 shows. I fire
Oh
back
my
once,
God.
and this contaminated little maggot can't handle my power and can't handle the truth. I wish him nothing but pain in his silly travels.
Oh my God, he
especially
sounds
if
like
they
a
wind up in
what the
my
fuck?
octagon. Clearly, I have defeated this
What the
earthworm
fuck?
with my words. Imagine what I would have done with my fire-breathing fists. I
Chat,
urge all of
what
my
the
beautiful
fuck?
and loyal fans who embraced this show for almost a
What the
decade
fuck
to
is
walk
go-
with me
wha-
side
what?
by side as we march up the steps
Nani
of
the
justice
fuck?
to right this unconscionable wrong. Remember, these are my people, not yours. We will continue on together. Charlie Sheen. If you're confused at all, the name Haim Levine is a reference to Chuck's Hebrew name. The specific choice to refer to Chuck as such has led some to believe that Sheen's comments were rooted
Nani-
in anti-Semitism. But whatever the
Dude, that sounds like a fucking angry Redditor. That sounds like a dude that spent half his time on fucking Reddit just like writing like some fucking harassment shit to like his like League of Legends buddies. It's just like what the it's just I'm just starting to think, are a bunch of like fucking sounds like he's the OG Redditor. Oh my God, that is so fucking true. That is so fucking true. Just fucking, it's just classic Charlie Sheen W, I guess.
case, it's
Are-
safe
are-
to say that the leading
let's
actor
get
on the
into-
biggest TV
I
show in the
want to
country
get
calling
into the
out
meat of the
creator
interview.
of that same show was a huge deal. And news publications would scramble
Oh
to
my
land an
God.
interview with the disgruntled superstar, something that Sheen would happily partake in.
Oh yeah.
All these radio rants
Because
have people thinking
the-
Charlie
okay.
Sheen has got to be on.
Okay. My thing is, Siren. The reason why he pulls the best tantrums is because it's cocaine-induced, tiger blood-injected tantrums. And the shit he says sounds like shit you would say in a chat room in Call of fucking Duty back in like 2010. Oh, it's so fucking good. Oh my God. There used to be a bunch of videos. There was a fucking meme back in the day.
On drugs again.
Sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen.
It's called Charlie Sheen.
It's not available because if you try it once, you will die. Your face will melt off and your children will weep over your exploded body.
The infamy of this interview with ABC News cannot be overstated, as it is likely the most iconic celebrity meltdown of all time.
Oh
While it's
my
remembered
God.
mostly for Charlie's unique and witty one-liners, there's much more to be understood in this interview conducted by ABC's 2020 team. The first question on
There's
everyone's
something
minds was
legendary
whether or not
about
Charlie
just
was
that.
on drugs, something he adamantly denied.
Are you willing to take a drug test?
Sure, you got a cup? I mean, I got nothing to hide.
In fact, right after our interview, he took that test and passed.
Rather than being fueled by a cocktail of various substances, Charlie rather felt emboldened to speak out against
was
what
so
he believed
strung
to be his
out.
treatment,
I did
specifically
laugh
claiming to be
watching it
tired of
with-
being kicked around,
Yeah.
deciding to
Yeah.
fully embrace the persona that
My
many
mom was like,
ascribed to
"This
him.
is not
His method
funny.
was to, quote, love it
This
and
is
defend
sad."
it violently through violent
Like,
hatred. This coincides with
it's
self-ascribed
like-
roles such as
it
the
became a
Vatican
meme.
assassin and calling himself a
That's
warlock.
how legendary
I'm a
this
high
was.
priest, Vatican assassin, warlock. I'm Hitler. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man.
And what does that mean?
I don't know.
Where do these words come from,
all
Charlie?
those words just sound cool together. It comes from my
Assassin
grand wizard master.
warlock.
I don't know, man. Stuff just comes out and it's entertaining and it's fun and it sounds different than all the other garbage people are spewing, you know?
Charlie also denies the allegation of anti-Semitism, claiming he referred to Chuck
Oh
by
my
his
God.
Hebrew name
This-
as a joke. He also
This is the reason why we have the fucking news. They just need Charlie Sheen to go on more fucking outbursts. It's just like people watch this shit. There's Emilio Estevez and Martin Sheen. They're like, yeah, we're concerned about I'm concerned about my brother. He's fucking strung out. Martin Sheen's like, oh fuck, I blame myself for all this shit. That's probably what he's thinking of. Now that he's just like, oh, I turned my son into this.
addresses comments made by his father, Martin, who expressed concern over his son's health and compared his addiction to cancer.
Can I ask you about the comments that your father, Martin, made?
Nah, I'm not interested in any of that. Nah. Comparing what?
Comparing your issues to cancer.
Yeah, no, he has no right to do that, and that's judgment, and I have no interest in that. I don't care if it's my dad or the guy down the street or someone that, like, fell out of the sky.
Dude looks
no
like...
interest in that. I don't care if he's my dad. Back off with your judgment.
He later
he's
goes
like,
on to
well, fuck.
explain that he was willing to apologize to Chuck,
That's true.
saying he didn't realize how sensitive he was. On top of this backhanded apology, Charlie stated his intention to sue as he was out of a job over what he believed to be an innocuous comment. During this interview, he would also manage to generate one of
Oh
his
my
most infamous
God.
viral clips after being asked about his last time using substances.
Tell me about the last time you took drugs.
Last time I took drugs, I probably took more than anybody could survive. You know?
What are we talking about? How much?
I don't know, man. I was banging 7-gram rocks and finishing them because that's how I roll. I have one speed. I have one gear. Go.
How do you survive that?
Because I'm me. Because I'm me. I'm different. I just have a different constitution. I have a different brain. I have a different heart. I have a different, I got tiger blood, man.
In a sea of notable moments and quips, the phrase tiger blood was one of the few lines that really stood out, spawning countless memes and even a public appearance from Sheen himself with a bottle of mangosteen juice labeled as tiger blood. I even remember when I was
my
a kid seeing Charlie Sheen costumes with a flask labeled tiger blood at Spirit Halloween. The overdose from January, publicly
Yes.
referred to as a
Oh,
hernia
I
at the
hope
time
they
of the
still have that
interview,
fucking
was also
costume.
brought up.
If I
An
find a
eyewitness, Casey
Spirit
Jordan,
Halloween, I'm
claims
getting
to
that
have
fucking
witnessed
costume.
Charlie smoking crack at a party moments before being carried off on a stretcher. He also gives his side story in regards to his meltdown in the Plaza Hotel, where he denied putting his hands on Capri Anderson and denied violent behavior of any kind. He chalks up what happened to a bad
side-eyed.
reaction to Ambien,
Thanks for
a
rating,
prescription
bro.
drug used to treat insomnia. But one notable detail that was obfuscated from many people's recollection of events is Charlie's introduction of his new
Bro, this is my day. I decided, I saw this video today, I'm like, I gotta fucking watch this on stream. And I'm just like, we are in the Tiger Blood arc of Charlie Sheen.
family. This family consisted of him and his two girlfriends, Natalie Kenley and
Yes,
Rachel
we're-
Oberlin. These young women...
Okay, you guys rated into Turkey Tom's retrospective of Charlie Sheen. Like, the legend, the dude that basically invented the word crash out. It is fucking legendary.
and were referred to by Charlie as his goddesses.
These are my girlfriends. These are the women that I love that have completed the 3 parts of my heart.
Natty and Charlie have their own special connection. I have my own connection with Charlie, and then Natty and I also have our own relationship.
Yup.
It seems crazy to everybody else, but for us, I mean, it works well.
It was clear that Charlie didn't take the interview all that seriously, with him frequently making jokes about
It's like the definition of crashing out has 2 pictures on the bottom. It has Kanye West and Charlie Sheen. Wait, what? Hold on. Let me fucking rewind that 5 seconds in. Okay, what
referred
is
to
it?
by Charlie as his goddesses.
These are my girlfriends. These are the women that I love that have completed the
Yeah.
3 parts of my heart.
Natty and Charlie
Yeah, it's
have their own
it's
special
basically what it
connection.
is.
I have my own connection with Charlie, and then Natty and I also have our own relationship.
I mean,
Seems crazy to everybody else.
it sounds like a classic Charlie
It was
Sheen
clear that
move.
Charlie didn't take the interview all that seriously, with him frequently making jokes about his past blunders and current usage.
There's a ton of laughter in this house. There's a ton of love in this house. There's a ton of nobility in this house.
Are there any drugs in this house?
Yep.
If there
Put that down for a second.
if there are, you better find them and give them to me immediately. No, they're not.
No drugs in the house right now.
Not that I know about. If I know about them, I'll find them and throw them away. It's not a big deal.
He was clearly erratic, with him speaking quickly, making bizarre non sequiturs, and most notably claiming that he stays up for days on end. If he wasn't on any substances, which didn't seem to be the case, then there had to be something else wrong.
Some are saying that you're bipolar.
Wow. And then what? What's the cure?
Yeah,
Medicine?
basically.
Make me like them? Not gonna happen. I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Yes!
If I'm bipolar, aren't there moments where a guy like crashes and like in the corner like, oh my God, it's all my mom's fault? Shut up. Shut up. Stop. Move forward.
Later down the line in 2016, Charlie would in fact be diagnosed with bipolar disorder, indicating that he was potentially experiencing a manic episode during this interview. But ultimately, Charlie was content with the choices he
Oh
made,
my
accepting that his
God.
time with 2.5 Men was up, and he was ready to take on other roles. As you likely know, Sheen's erratic behavior and mannerisms turned him into
Oh
the
my
biggest story of
fucking
the
God.
year. This is best indicated by the creation of his Twitter account, which was made on March 1st and hit 1 million followers in the first 25 hours of its creation. A day later, his ex-wife, Brooke, filed a restraining order against him, which unfortunately resulted in Charlie
Yeah.
losing custody of their twin boys.
That-
This
it's
restraining
just like,
order was the result
you have
of
to know
multiple
about your
alleged threats
problems.
that Charlie made against her.
It's like, okay, it's like you have to know about your problems from a quack doctor. It's that bad. Like, if your life is that out of order and you have to like rely on a person that plays a doctor on TV that gives like the, you know, like the most generic health advice, and like these interviews, my God, it's just like no wonder why like this thing got blown up more than it needed to. You know, I was there watching it. This is like, I feel like this shit right here is like the one thing that kind of got ingrained in the back of my head. It's just like, I think about it sometimes like, holy shit, there was Charlie Sheen. You know, there was just fucking Charlie Sheen. Just back of my head, like Charlie Sheen jokes left and right. Yeah, it is. And then when you're like and it's just like it's like you're watching this dude have a mental breakdown, and the only thing you can just do is just like be like, this is so fucking unreal. Is this Hollywood? Like, this is like your thought process as a kid. Now that, well, you know, I'm like an adult and I'm like, yeah, this does not surprise me. It's like one of those like scenarios where it's like, yeah, I can see this happening. I definitely can see this fucking happening. Where like you get a lot of young celebrities, like you'll see it with a bunch of them. I don't think it is as bad as it like used to be, like fuck. But it's still there. I mean, like, you're going to get some actors, like young actors and actresses that are just going to crash out. Like, they're not going to have the same level of magnitude as Charlie Sheen or any young actor back in the day, but they're going to exist. You know? It's one of those things where it's just like, yeah, it's going to happen. Because one, it's Hollywood, and Hollywood is like terrible, and it's like Hollywood couldn't rely on their own branch. Oh yeah, he had some legendary crash. Oh, he still does. He like, when does he not crash out? It's like every day is a crash out for Kanye. And the thing is, it's just like with Charlie Sheen, it just does not get any better from it. It's just like, it is like the most legendary thing you can possibly fucking think of. Like, dude, it's like, I don't know how the hell Hollywood does not learn from these mistakes and be like, okay, we need to be a little bit more careful, and we need to make sure, like, you know, we're not above the law when it comes to our people. Yeah, you kind of have to become a super narcissistic person. Like, you kind of have to be washed up like me in order to succeed. Oh, shit. I did not know that was going to happen. Yeah, okay. But yeah, basically, it's just like, that's kind of like the gist of it. Like, you're gonna see these people on a day-to-day basis. Like the thing is, Hollywood's never gonna like learn from their like mistakes. Like, you got some actors that are like really good and they're like, they stay underneath the limelight and they're not like super narcissistic. There is examples of it, but like, we're seeing it with some young actresses. Like, I'm pretty sure there is something going on with Millie Bobby Brown. Like, I don't think it's completely there, but holy fuck. Like Hollywood has done a number on her. Like, we don't see it, but holy shit, she doesn't even look her age. She looks like she's 20 years older. And I think she's in her early 20s. She looks like she's 40. Oh yeah, I'm like, why? Like the deep down in my head, I'm like thinking like, you're young, you don't need Botox.
Including one where he threatened to cut her head off, put it in a box, and mail it to her mother. Things only got...
What the fuck? Holy shit. Okay. What the fuck was that?
Restraining order against him, which unfortunately resulted in Charlie losing custody of their twin boys. This restraining order was the result of multiple alleged threats that Charlie made against her, including one where he threatened to cut her head off, put it in a box, and mail it to her mother. Things only got worse on March 7th when Warner Brothers sent Charlie Sheen's lawyer an 11-page termination notice, informing Charlie that he had been officially fired from 2.5 Men. An excerpt from the letter reads as follows. At the outset, let us
Jesus
state the
fucking
obvious.
Christ, Charlie. You have to be that fucking unhinged to your, like, ex-wife? Ugh, fucking Jesus Christ.
Your client has been engaged in dangerously self-destructive conduct and appears to be very ill. For months before the suspension of production, Mr. Sheen's erratic behavior escalated while his condition deteriorated. His declining condition undermined the production in numerous and significant ways. Now, the entire world knows Mr. Sheen's condition from his alarming outbursts over just the last few weeks. Warner Brothers, CBS, and Chuck Lorre have done everything within their power to get Mr. Sheen the help he so badly and obviously needs. Entreating his family and representatives, visiting him at home, offering to rearrange production schedules to accommodate his treatment, and even making an airplane available to take him to a rehabilitation clinic before he reneged on his commitment to enter such a facility. In halting production of 2.5 Men, the show, for the remainder of the season, and suspending Mr. Sheen's employment on the show, Warner Brothers took the only responsible action open to it, morally and legally, in these painful circumstances. Warner Bros. Would not, could not, and should not attempt to continue business business as usual, while Mr. Sheen destroys himself and the world watches. Many reasons for Charlie's termination are cited within this document, such as his recent difficulty reading lines and hitting marks, as well as creating unnecessary tension on set. The letter also states, Mr. Sheen's condition, statements, and escalating destructive behavior caused Warner Brothers to conclude that production in the 2010 to 2011 season was untenable. Warner Bros. Could not produce the show when its lead actor had become demonstrably unstable, publicly lashing out with verbal abuse and overt threats to its executives and the creative voice of the show, as well as destroying the already fragile relationships with key show personnel that were indispensable to the creative process behind the show's success. Warner Bros. Therefore suspended production for the 2010 to 2011 season. The idea that Charlie was being treated unfairly is almost laughable. There is no benefit on behalf of the show's execs or the creator himself to fire Charlie, who is the highest paid actor on TV's top grossing show. Charlie's firing made the show's future monetary potency uncertain, and yet it was more financially viable to let him go than keep him on the show. Regardless, Charlie felt as though he had been wronged, despite the letter stating in plain English that the contract
that makes sense, especially when
Charlie
you have some
opted
dude
to file
that
a $100 million lawsuit against Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
The suit alleges that executives at Warner were pressured by Laurie to terminate him due to some personal vendetta. The suit also claims that Charlie was ready and eager to work on the show, while everyone else was behind. Furthermore, Sheen sought to have the cast and crew reimbursed for the pay they would have received from the now canceled episodes. This was more than likely a performative gesture to posture himself as the good guy, and if anything, the only person responsible for their loss of income was himself. Around this time, Charlie released a video series titled Charlie Sheen's Corner, with the first episode being an 8-minute diatribe in which he lays into Chuck Lorre.
Hiya, Chuck. Cheese ball.
What the fuck?
Where you hiding, silly clown? Behind your narcissism, your greed, your hatred of yourself or women? Which personality are you cowering beneath for transparent cover? I see you, you little worm. I see you behind your plastic smile, your bitchy pout, and your desperate need to be liked. Forget love. That ship sailed when you were born, to use one of your stupid and unfunny jokes. Good luck with those tin can brain and the mush mouth of some pathetic carcass you so arrogantly attempted to trade out for this warlock.
Other episodes of this series are available for viewing online, but they're ultimately incomprehensible and confusing. However, they do paint a picture that the ABC interview was not a simple performance, but rather a genuine glimpse into the psyche of Charlie Sheen at that time. In an attempt to capitalize on his ever-growing infamy, Charlie set off on a nationwide tour. Fastball, My Violent Torpedo of Truth and Defeat.
Yeah, I don't remember that either.
The tour was received extremely negatively.
It's like there was a lot
of
Charlie Sheen back in 2010.
And didn't even have a planned act or routine set up. This wasn't a comedy tour. The best way to describe it would be a public speaking tour, and even that feels disingenuous. The first performance took place in Detroit, Michigan, and really exemplified how much of a horrible idea this whole thing was. Attempting to capitalize on his viral moment, merchandise featuring Sheen's most notable quips was distributed, such as a Bangin' 7G's shirt and a hat that said, "I'm not bipolar." When the show was finally set to start, Sheen was nowhere to be found and ultimately arrived 45 minutes late to his performance. All went well for the first few minutes, but as the novelty wore off, so did the audience's patience. In true Charlie Sheen fashion, he rambled incoherently, albeit in the most poetic way possible. "I used my power against them and stuffed their arms down their gaping throats. No time to take their stinking toupees because this warlock was on the move. I have no clue what point he's attempting to make here, and realistically, neither did the audience. No one was here for Charlie or to support his recent transgressions with Warner Brothers. Rather, they were there for the meltdown, with one audience member stating, "I'm here to see him fall apart." Hecklers from the crowd demanded stories about hookers and his crack usage, with one audience member demanding that he smoke on stage. When Sheen tried to show an amateur film he had made with Johnny Depp in the 1980s, he was met with boos from the crowd. Charlie eventually promised to return after a brief intermission, although he never returned, and the crowd became unruly.
We're the cops, because I was just robbed by Charlie Sheen. Yeah. Every other city that bought tickets, you just lost your money. He ain't gonna show up. Yeah, what do you mean Charlie got offended by the people booing. Yeah. He didn't know what to do next.
Okay.
That was the deal.
Those in attendance had gotten what they wanted, but not in the way that they wanted it. They expected the erratic yet poetic diatribes that made his ABC interview infamous. They wanted debaucherous tales of Charlie Harper from 2.5 Men. They expected to laugh at the circus that had become Charlie Sheen's life. But it was those who were forced with the unfiltered, raw, and real Charlie Sheen who had to realize that there was nothing really funny about this. This was not the living meme they saw on Facebook. This was a real human suffering a severe mental breakdown with no one in his corner. While Charlie was spiraling, the higher-ups behind 2.5 Men were planning on how to move forward, ultimately deciding to kill Charlie's character off and replace him with Walden Schmidt, played by Ashton Kutcher. With very big shoes to fill, Kutcher realized the difficult position he found himself in, stating, "I can't replace Charlie Sheen, but I'm gonna work my ass off to entertain people." The show maintained a decent success until its eventual end in 2015, although it's often regarded as poor in comparison to the Sheen era of the show. Notably, the show has had issues with another prominent actor, Angus T. Jones, who played Jake Harper. In 2012, he publicly announced he had recently converted to Christianity and publicly called for people to stop watching the show, all while still being an active cast member. As for the show's conclusion, the ending teases Charlie's return, only for him to be crushed by a falling piano. The camera pans out to feature the show's creator, Chuck Lorre, smugly looking toward the camera and saying, "Winning," before also being crushed by a piano. On one hand, this could be a simple joke, but if we read into it a bit more, it almost seems to be an allusion to the fact that no one actually came out of the situation as the victor, with both Chuck and Charlie facing the consequences of a brutal addiction. But on a more positive note, since then, Charlie and Chuck have actually repaired their relationship. After a long period of not speaking, Chuck found himself in a place of peace and decided to offer Charlie a role in the series Bookie.
Okay.
I've gotten to the place where it's old news. I loved...
Okay, that is a fucked up that is very fucked up. Fucking Hollywood, God. It's very fucked up. You're like, oh. Oh, it is. It definitely is. It's so fucking stupid.
Loved working with Charlie on 2.5 Men. We did 170 episodes together before it all fell apart. And more often than not, we had a good time. Assuming he's in a good place, I'm in a good place. I was nervous, but almost as soon as we started talking, I remembered we were friends once, and that friendship just suddenly seemed to be there again. I don't want to be too mawkish about it, but it was healing. And he was also totally game to make fun of himself. When he came to the table read of that episode, I walked up and we hugged. It was just great. Although, at the time of Kutcher's introduction to the show, Sheen was not interested in that courtesy. On the date of the premiere of Season 9, the Comedy Central roast of Charlie Sheen was slated to premiere only 1 hour later. Furthermore, Sheen entered the stage riding a train.
Does anyone remember the roast of Charlie Sheen? Like, I fucking remember. It's fucking... God, it was so fucking good. It was so fucking unhinged.
A slight homage to how his character was killed off in the show, which was him being pushed in front of a train. The roast, to this day, is the most successful out of any other. This was a brief moment of success for Charlie, as he appeared far more sober than he had in the months prior. He continued to rebuild his brand with his new show, Anger Management.
You can't fire me. I quit. Think you can replace me with some other guy? Go ahead. It won't be the same. You may think I'm losing, but I'm not. Anyway, you get the idea.
The show portrays a what-if narrative, with the main character, Charlie Goodman, being a sort of self-insert for Charlie. He plays an anger management coach and former professional baseball player who destroyed his career with his anger issues after breaking a bat over his leg. The show displays clear ties to Charlie's real life, with his father, Martin Sheen, playing the role of the main character's dad, and his ex-wife, Denise, appearing in an episode as his girlfriend. Another notable footnote in the story here is the release of Food Fight in June of 2012. This movie is infamous for many things, including its poor animation,
My God, this movie was so bad. I was just like, it feels like a fucking fever dream watching it, like just remembering it. It's like, did this even exist? I do. I remember like a bunch of people reviewing it. Yeah, it existed. It was a real fucking thing.
voice acting, and generally silly premise. And the production of the movie is also bizarre in its own right. Conceptualized in 1997 in the wake of the success of Toy Story, they came up with a movie which featured grocery store products coming to life when the store closed. This movie was being worked on until December of 2002, when the hard drives
it was a
containing
fever
the
dream.
assets for the movie were stolen. Despite this act likely being some form of divine intervention, the creator, Lawrence Kasanoff, pushed on and was able to release the movie 11 years after its intended release date. It featured actors like Wayne Brady, Hilary Duff, Ava Longoria, Christopher Lloyd, and, of course, Charlie Sheen as the main character, Dex Dogtective.
I'm giving you one last chance to hand them over before I cash in your coupons for you.
It is you, the great Dex
It looks so fucking bad.
Or should I say, be pushed.
This movie would gain particular infamy after the YouTuber JonTron made a video critiquing it, which currently sits at over 20 million views. However, an even bigger disaster than Food Fight would occur slightly after. In May of 2013, social workers from the Department of Child and Family Services revoked custody of Charlie's twin boys from his ex-wife, Brooke. Brooke's life, while not as tumultuous as her ex-husband's, was still chaotic, resulting in an arrest in December 2011 for possession and assault. As a result, she checked herself into an inpatient rehab program in order to get clean. Although it seems that her progress was less than exceptional, as she was once again getting in trouble. Charlie was incapable of taking custody of the young boys due to already losing it in 2011. This left Sheen's other ex-wife, Denise Richards, to step up, as she took full custody of the 4-year-old twins. Despite this kind-hearted gesture, Denise struggled to take care of the young boys for a number of reasons. Due to Charlie not being permitted to see them, that also meant he was unable to visit his daughters, who Denise also had custody of. On top of that, the boys displayed some very disturbing tendencies, according to Denise herself. They started to have extremely violent mood swings, often out of nowhere. They would be calm, playing, and turn on a dime. The boys would grab anything they could get their hands on as quickly as possible.
Oh, that's
toys,
oh
picture
my
frames,
God.
any object within arm's reach they can pick up, and then they would throw it. They violently threw these things at me, my daughters, anyone near them, as well as the windows and walls. They have broken iPads, cell phones, flipped small furniture, and broken it, along with many toys. Bob threw a remote at the TV so hard he cracked the screen. I had to take many things out of their room because they would destroy it. I've had to put things up out of their reach. Things that normally would be appropriate for a 4-year-old have to be put away. After they break things many times, they say that I broke them or that their sister did. Mine and Charlie's daughters have been strangled, kicked in the head and stomach, scratched, bit, slapped, punched in the face and head, and spit on.
Oh my
Myself
God,
and
these-
anyone around them have
these
also
fucking-
experienced this.
Wow. So they're going wow, that's kind of fucked up. Like, holy shit. This is like super sad and shit. Like, it's it's just like one of those things you don't really like fucking think about. Like, so like basically they got their dad's genetic like trait for like a probably like bipolar disorder.
My daughter, Sammy, had to be taken to the doctor after getting hit in the eye with a toy when Bob came home from a visit with his mom. Denise also detailed that the boys would wake up in the middle of the night screaming and crying due to frequent nightmares, and also noted what she perceived as emotional detachment, specifically in regards to hurting other people or animals. Supposedly, the boys would hit, kick, and strangle the family's dogs and would bite, spit at, kick, scratch, and punch their stepsisters. Denise also notes that Charlie was cooperative throughout the process and caused no issues regarding the boys. Obviously, these young kids were not evil demon babies. Rather, they are a byproduct of what is likely an extremely toxic environment, with both their parents being heavily addicted to drugs and alcohol. In the end, Brooke's brother Scott was awarded full ownership of the children until Brooke regained custody in 2014. It may appear that Charlie had ultimately managed to get his life together in the wake of his public meltdown,
definitely.
and for the most part, this was the case. But of course, the name Charlie Sheen couldn't stay out of the tabloids for too long. In October 2014, a dental technician filed a lawsuit against Charlie for assault, battery, sexual battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Allegedly, Sheen was yelling incoherently at the staff of the dental office when he walked in. After being sat in the examination room, they applied a nitrous oxide mask to his face. This provoked a reaction from Sheen, in which he ripped off the mask, jumped out of the chair, and threatened to kill the 3 staff members in the room. Sheen supposedly then assaulted one of the female employees, supposedly attempting to unclasp her bra from behind. They claim that after Sheen's bodyguard came in to break things up, Charlie
That's so
lunged into
fucked
a
up.
chair in the room and began stabbing it with a knife. One of the employees then attempted to administer a topical anesthetic
Oh
into
my
Sheen's
fucking
mouth,
God, that's
which
so
he violently
fucking
pulled out
unhinged.
and proceeded to punch the employee in the chest. Sheen's personal assistant also supposedly offered Palestino $500 for her troubles, which was potentially a bribe to keep her quiet. One of the witnesses also claimed that Sheen was high on a combination of things, including crack, Therodol, which is a narcotic painkiller, and alcohol. Sheen's lawyer publicly responded to the lawsuit, calling it ridiculous, opportunistic, and accusing the suit of violating HIPAA guidelines. It was also implied that Charlie had a bad reaction to the nitrous oxide. On top of this, Charlie's dentist denied the claim and fired the technician who filed suit. Charlie personally called out his accuser, publicly saying, "Hey cholesterol pants, maybe you should have taken the crack you so brazenly and ignorantly accused me of being on and sold it. Now that you're a jobless washout and a traitor, you're gonna need the extra dough. Lick those food stamps, you desperate troll." Ultimately, this case was
Dude,
thrown out.
no.
But the next notable moment in Charlie's life was his announcement of his HIV positive status.
Oh, yeah, I remember this.
HIV positive.
This announcement was made due to Charlie's name frequently being brought up and rumors about having full-blown AIDS. Charlie personally was unaware of how he contracted the disease, but said that he has not attempted to hide it from any potential partners. However, he had been hiding the disease from the public for the last 4 years, and supposedly paid up to $10 million to people using his diagnoses as blackmail to keep it from going public. This included the prospect of tapes being leaked of Charlie being intimate with both men and transsexual women. Charlie's decision ended up making a much more beneficial impact than he could have ever predicted. In the coming days, Google search metrics showed people had become increasingly more aware of HIV and took it upon themselves to research symptoms, causes, and general preventative care. There was
sounds
also
about right.
a notable uptick in rapid at-home HIV tests, skyrocketing 95% in sales. Charlie's decision to speak out almost certainly saved lives and was effective in deconstructing preconceived notions about people with HIV. Notably, Charlie's now ex-girlfriend Goddesses had a bit of a feud when this information was revealed. Rachel Oberlin, now going by her birth name of Brie Olson, claimed that Charlie never told her about his HIV status, despite Charlie claiming the opposite.
Charlie is claiming, and again, I haven't heard the
Oh
interview,
my
that
fucking
he
God.
told everyone in his life who he slept with and stuff that he had HIV. When did you learn that he had HIV?
Right along with everyone else. He never said anything to me. I was his girlfriend. I lived with him.
Right.
We were together. We had sex almost every day for a year.
Unprotected sex?
With lambskin condoms, which are
Right,
which
which
is
is
not
not-
productive.
yeah.
No.
Only pregnancy.
Charlie's other goddess, Natalie Kenley, denied Brie's claim of Charlie being a monster, stating, "He is not a monster. He has regard for human beings and cares about people.
Oh
I do
my
not see him
fucking
knowingly
God.
putting women at risk. He's got young kids.
That-
He's also not
that's
an idiot,
got-
and
that's
I don't
got
see himself
the- holy
opening up to that
fucking
legal
shit.
nightmare. He's a good man, and I feel very fortunate to have spent the time with him that I did, and I'm so sad to hear of his troubles. I hope he's okay." While it's technically impossible to verify the claims of either party, these allegations would pale in comparison to what came next. In an article posted by the Inquirer, allegations against Sheen were made detailing a supposed assault committed against a 13-year-old Corey Haim on the set of Lucas when Sheen was 19. These allegations were made over 7 years after Corey's death by a close friend named Dominic Brassia.
Rod
Corey Haim
Howard is
appeared
the
in a
biggest
total of 9
narcissist
movies with fellow
of
actor
the
Corey
Hollywood
Feldman,
elite.
earning the duo the title of the Two Coreys during the primes of their careers. Undoubtedly, the two were extremely close, and Feldman
Yeah,
made many
no one really
strong
likes Rod
inferences
Howard,
to
though.
Charlie potentially harming Haim at some
That's
point.
the truth.
At some point during the filming of Lucas, Haim explained an adult male convinced him it was perfectly normal for older men and younger boys in the business to have relations, and that it was what all guys do. When asked about Charlie Sheen during
Oh
the
my
peak of his
fucking
infamy,
God.
Feldman stated, "I'm not a huge fan of Charlie Sheen, especially the way he's affected other
Oh
people
my
that I
God,
know."
no.
Charlie flat out denied these claims and went as far as to sue
Oh
the
my God,
Inquirer
thank God
over
this
the
video's almost
allegations,
over.
calling them egregious, hurtful,
We've
and a
made it
disgusting
through it. Oh
campaign
my
of
God.
defamations. Feldman would double down on his claims in 2020 during the release of the documentary My Truth. The documentary tells the story of how both Coreys were supposedly subject to SA when they were children, with Charlie Sheen's name being mentioned once again. Charlie once again denied the allegations, saying, "These sick, twisted, and outlandish allegations never occurred. period. I would urge everyone to consider the source and read what his mother, Judy Haim, has to say. Interestingly, both Corey Haim's mother and older sister have denied the allegations that Charlie was responsible, asserting that the real man responsible
yeah, definitely.
was
This is
Dominic
like this is
Brescia, the
probably
man who
like the
originally
most
spoke to the Inquirer.
sad.
It's also worth noting that Dominic passed away in 2018, shortly after making his allegations. It's safe to say that this entire situation is a total mess. It's very hard to imagine why Corey Feldman or Corey Haim's family would both accuse each other of dishonesty here, and while it's more than likely that one of them is lying,
this whole
it's
entire
very
thing just
difficult
makes
to
me
know
feel
for
super
certain.
uncomfortable.
The reason being that there's no concrete info to provide for either claim. Yet, it's not a total stretch of the imagination that something bad could have happened during Corey's childhood, especially considering his own substance abuse issues and later death. Despite his many arrests, overdoses, divorces, and meltdowns, Charlie Sheen in current day appears to be in a good place. In early 2018, he decided to finally get sober for good, with his decision being sparked by an encounter he had with his daughter. Charlie preferred to drink in the morning rather than at night, and one morning, he had completely forgotten he needed to take his daughter to an appointment. Unable to drive, he called on his friend Tony to give her a ride. His daughters, who were 18 and 19 at the time, likely were old enough to know the reason
Sounds like
he couldn't
Charlie
drive,
Sheen.
which he felt great shame about. Since that moment, Charlie has not drank alcohol and had already ceased his drug usage prior to that moment. He also seems to be in relatively good standings with many who have crossed his path. He and Chuck Lorre have since made amends and worked together on a project. He continues to be active in his kids' lives and maintains a good relationship with his ex-wives. In September 2024, Brooke revealed that she and Charlie are neighbors and that they speak multiple times a day. Meanwhile, Denise Richards, his second wife, said in an interview, "Charlie is always invited to holiday dinners. There's always an open door, and that goes for Brooke and the boys as well. I'm always the more the merrier. I want everyone to get along and everyone to be peaceful." Sheen's ex-wives also have a bond of their own, with Brooke describing their dynamic as a unique modern family. It seems that despite Charlie's propensity to get into trouble, that the people closest to him still see the good. Despite his mistakes and selfish behavior, Sheen has managed to earn himself a few extra second chances. And at the moment,
it's
he
good.
seems to be
It's
making
just
the most of it. Aside from his appearance in Bookie, he's refrained from any major acting role since 2017, possibly due to it being the very same environment that enabled his darkest proclivities. His legacy, while unconventional, has also managed to surpass many of his peers from the early days. Not necessarily through fame or through star status, but from the pure fact that there will likely
seems like
never
he's
be
in a
someone
good
quite
place.
like Charlie
I just
Sheen.
feel about the
I've been
Corey
Turkey
stuff.
Tom. Thanks for watching.
Is,
Until next time, leave me alone.
Yeah, it's a bit fucked. The Corey Haim and Corey Feldman shit. That's a little bit fucked. Wait. Hold on. Let me check one thing. Let me check one thing. Okay, so he's still alive. It was the Corey Haim. I'm like, wait, Corey Feldman passed away? I'm like, fuck, a lot of actors have passed away recently, you know? Corey Haim. Yeah, it's... Okay, so he passed away at the age of 30. Oh. Keith or Sutherland? Okay, but yeah, still, how... I feel like, you know, a lot of the shit that fucking Charlie Sheen did, especially on these fucking rampages, dude, like, half the fucking rampages he was on was so fucked up. You can't make this shit up. It's like, they were like the biggest what the fucks you could possibly imagine. Like, bro, like, they were just like fucking. Hold on 1 second. I gotta move over here. Like they're so fucked. Like, you can't make half of it up, and a lot of it's just like batshit fucking crazy. Like, I'm glad the guy's in a... Oh, yeah, that shit. It's just like... fucking Hollywood, man. Like, you can't make it up. You just can't make it up. Bro, it's like the shit you would, it's like a fucking fever dream, man. Like, it's just like one of those things where it's like, oh. It's just like, Jesus Christ. You know, we're gonna like change things up. You know, we're gonna switch over to probably, I think what we're gonna do is probably switch everything to like a video game. Take a break from this reacting shit, because what the fuck? Fucking Charlie Sheen. This goddamn party animal, just fucking out of control. Okay, what? Okay, well, we're gonna switch over to... I'm gonna change things. You know, I'm gonna do a stress test on my PC for Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Wilds. Yeah, we definitely need a palate cleanser after Charlie Sheen. I wasn't expecting to get that fucking far. I know, like, Charlie Sheen was kind of a unhinged boy. Which is Jesus Christ, but I wasn't expecting that shit. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was like in the middle of a boss fight yesterday. Let's see here. Let's change. What do we change here? Oh yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds. Now let's just like... Hold on 1 second. 1 second.
Gatorade me, bitch.
Okay, so I gotta end stream. And also, who did that? Like...
Lord of 45 Wham, Lord of 45 Chip Pets, Lord of 45
Oh, okay.
Lord of 45 B-Sod, Lord of 45 Angry Noises,
Okay,
Lord
okay.
of 45
So,
they Lord of 45
I gotta
Point,
end
Lord
really
of
fast
45
because I gotta go
Coolum,
do something real
Hamburg,
quick. I will
Tom to
be
34
right back.
Love, Tom to 34 Wave, Tom to 34 Sleepy, Tom to 34 Angie, Tom to 34
So, I'm going
Confused.
to be right back. And it'll only be a little bit. So, I'm going to end stream, and then we're going to start in another 2 hours. So I'll see you guys then. We're going to be playing Monster Hunter Wilds. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.